Okay, so we are recording. So our question is landscape maintenance. I'll have to flip some pages to get to the landscape maintenance questions. We covered a lot of stuff this year, didn't we?
Yes, we sure did.
Okay, our question for landscape maintenance. Well, that was landscape design. I apologize. We'll have to find something else. Question. When planting a tree, what should be visible just above the soil line?
The root flare.
Root flare.
Very good. That cuts down the life of the tree if you bury the root flare. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so we got some wildlife going. Find my wildlife class. Just saw those pictures. Jar just saw those questions. I apologize. These pages kind of okay. Yeah, that's 4-H. I apologize. I'm trying to look as fast as I can. Okay, this mouse-like pest.
It's a vole.
Oh.
That's right. Moves in open tunnels and gnaws on woody plant material under snowdrift. That is correct. It is a vole with a V, and the vole loves to feed under bird feeders where there's dropped bird seed. So people, birds during the winter when there's snow, you will always find the tunnels, those open tunnels, the voles will go under there and they love the seed. They will eat seed as a food source. And if you have any shrubs in the area that have snow under them, it's very easy to find little gnawing teeth marks where they've been. So we got some voles, different than a mole. So people get moles and voles mixed up. Moles burrow underground and the vole is in open runs and they love the snow. So. Okay. Maintenance again. Blank be done before ever purchasing plant material. Site selection, soil preparation, or both?
Both.
Oh.
Exactly. It's really easy to go to a nursery or a retail center and find something you absolutely fall in love with, but have no place to put it. So it's best when you're trying to think about a landscape plan and landscape maintenance, prep that soil ahead. So it's ready for when you have the plant material, it can go right in for installation. So perfect. Soils. Okay. Which soil texture is the happy medium with the
Silt,
particles?
Bill, yeah,
Is silt. Mix of particles that can hold water and nutrients and can also allow water and nutrients to pass at a moderate rate. That is silt. That is the happy medium between the two. So the particle size is in between and it allows for some water and moisture and nutrient holding capacity, but also allows the ability to drain. That is correct. Very good. Thank you for pulling up your study guides. It doesn't make this nearly as daunting, does it?
No,
No.
It was a good review. To read through all of them and just kind of good review.
Landscape design. Okay, a seamless linkage between diverse features to create blending where plant and other elements are related to each other. Interconnection, bonding, or similarity.
interconnection.
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 Yeah, interconnection.
Doesn't stick out like a sore thumb on accident, basically. So we want to make that kind of that, unless you are trying to break a rule and you're putting something in to make emphasis or a point. That's when you break that interconnectedness. So very good. So I'm checking off all the questions I asked. So we will not have to go over the same thing again. Okay, planting combinations. This will match. A blank can be a plant, a timber, or piece of artwork that is the focal point of a container garden.
thriller,
Thriller.
A thriller.
thriller.
It is the thriller. So it's kind of like the point of emphasis in landscape where you're breaking that continuity. It's going to grab your attention. So it's the thriller. Very good. All right. Plant physiology. Sorry, it's taken me a little while to find that one. Wow. I know we have it. Does anyone have a question you want to throw out? If you can find it faster than David can? That kind of crazy?
What's it called when the fluid or water goes up in a plant?
What's that?
The question is, what would it be if the water goes up in the plant, not down?
Oh, the tubes. Yes.
That's
What?
xylem.
Yes. Xylem.
Yep.
And the process is transpiration.
Mm-hmm. And where is that? I know I wrote that question, guys.
Yeah,
It's towards the front.
It's in here somewhere.
and phloem goes down.
Yes, xylem goes up, phloem goes down. Xylem is right within the, it is arranged right behind the bark in the cambium layer. So when you physically damage something with a lawnmower or weed eater, you're cutting off the xylem. The phloem in the diagram it goes down, and that's more towards the center. So you'd really have to do some damage to get to the middle of that one. So, okay, here we go. Here's plant physiology finally. So, all right. Thank you for doing that one. So we'll click to a different one. House plants again. Okay, the choice of potting media should be paired with the needs of a plant's root system, ability to hold nutrients, ability to hold water, ability of optimal drainage, or all of these.
All of these.
All of them. That's a no-brainer. But that literally came out of a University of Florida publication when I wrote the houseplant class, is that people think potting mix is potting mix. And it's not. It is quite varied. And you can be very specific about it. John Porter, my colleague in Omaha, knows of a kind of a hip little coffee shop that also you can buy your plants and and it's a soil potting bar with soil media components where you can make your own potting media and also get your latte. So crazier things can happen. So you can tailor make those. And in one of my handouts for the houseplant class were the recipes for different types of potting media for different types of houseplants. One side was a set of recipes from Penn State Extension, and the other side were recipes from the University of Florida Extension. And they talked about, bromeliads and cacti and palms and different scenarios. So potting media is not one and the same. There are different variations. So very good. Wildlife, got some critters again. If we don't get to the insects, we will just throw a question in there on the insects because we see those also with plant disease. Okay, this is state law. Wildlife mammals cannot be relocated more than how many yards? From
100.
100.
100 yards, 1 football field length. So in some cases, is that very effective?
No.
No. And so in some cases, with some animals that fall under that rule, it is absolutely okay to humanely utilize those animals if you so choose. It is worse for you to drive them out in the country and dump them off. So that's an important one to remember. And sometimes people will ask about that question, but it is 1 football field length and you know they're going to come back. So unless it is a protected creature, those animals can be humanely euthanized according to state law. So. We like our houseplants today, but I will tell you, houseplants are extremely important because with the pandemic, people have bought houseplants at record rate because they need something to look forward to. Okay, this is a good question for everyone to remember. When repotting a house plant, how many pot sizes should you move the plant up to?
One.
One, because there's so many cool pots out there and containers. It's like, oh, I want to plant this in this container. So you got the small plant, you want to put it in something way too big. And that's not what we want you to do. If you want to put a specific plant in a specific container, you use your house plant that is in its container and use that as a sleeve to put in the decorative container. So that may mean you may have to put a brick or a layer of rocks or something on to put the plant in its original container inside the decorative container you want to do. Then you can camouflage it with moss or whatever other type of decorative piece. So you get the pot that you want and you get the plant that you want in the pot, and it'll have a fighting chance to live. So, but just one pot size. A lot of people go overboard on that one. So that's a good one to review. Okay, design. And these are good questions for you all to remember. The reoccurrence of an event or thing, such as repeated elements of a landscape, are called copying, repetition.
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 It is your repetition.
Yep.
So we have, we've talked about interconnection, but you also have the repetition piece. So where it's going to repeat in the landscape, whether it's in every 3s, 5s, 7s, or however, you're going to see that continuously through the landscape. So very good. Maintenance. Okay, a planting hole should ideally be in which shape? A V, a wide bowl,
Yeah.
Wide bowl.
Wide bowl.
excellent, excellent. Shallow wide bowl, and the shallow bowl can be no deeper than the container that plant came in. Sense? It may seem really shallow, but if you plant that plant deeper and a hole deeper, or a hole that will collapse in and become planted deeper, you're cutting off the oxygen and the carbon dioxide exchange. And what would you be covering on accident that we want to see above the soil line?
The root.
Root flare. Excellent.
flare.
You guys are on a roll. You guys, you really are. You really are. This is great. This is great.
David, I have
Yes.
a question. Can you do that like on tomatoes? They grow roots even if you plant them deeper, don't they?
Yes. You have two exceptions to the rule: tomatoes and marigolds.
Okay.
But trees and shrubs, you need to follow the shallow bowl.
Okay. Thank you.
We do have people that will plant. How many of you have heard of planting a tomato on its side?
Yes.
Really leggy. It will create adventitious roots, and then it will make a 90-degree turn and go straight up. So we do have two exceptions: tomatoes and marigolds. And the rest, we need to follow the other rule. So, but you're exactly right. That's what makes the review fun versus just someone taking a test. Does that make sense? So this is exactly what I was hoping for, is everyone get to visit. So great, thank you. Oh. We finally get a disease. Not that that's a lot of fun, but it's something to remember. Okay, disease. A disorder that is caused by living organisms, such as a virus, bacteria, fungi, insects, etc., are abiotic
Abiotic.
or biotic.
Biotic with a B.
Biotic.
Biotic with a B, because abiotic could be the sun. It could be someone running it over, which is called mechanical damage. Hitting it with the lawnmower is those are things like sun scald or a flood. Those are abiotic things.
Oh,
Biotic issue is something that is caused by a living organism, such as a virus, a fungi, a bacteria, an insect feeding on it, so on. So that's always good to remember that. So biotic is from a biological source versus an abiotic, meaning non-biotic, is the sun scald, the flood, the lawnmower doing the damage. Those are,
the wind.
yes, the wind, exactly. The wind, any weather type thing is going to be considered an abiotic disorder to a tree. Or you planted it too close to the power line and the utility company comes over and goes, that's a biotic disorder. So exactly. So cool. All right. Soils. This soil amendment, when mixed in 12 inches deep,
That's mulch.
can break up
Organic
heavy clay
matter.
soil,
Oh, and it's organic matter.
or yes,
Sorry.
organic matter.
Sorry.
Break up a heavy clay or add water holding capacity to sandy soils. And it's organic matter, absolutely. Organic matter can come in the form of mulch. It can come in the form of compost. It could come in the form of dried litter. So it's like poultry litter, for example. That's organic, an organic matter. So very good. Design. Let's see what they have for design. That's been a popular one. Define design. Yeah, let's see what these are. Okay. Texture is A, how something feels or appears compared to other elements, only found in plants, or C, only found in hardscapes.
A.
How
A.
something feels.
It's A.
Yeah.
So how something feels or appears compared to other elements. So can be something very lacy, like planting dill. A fern has a really lacy, airy texture to it versus a big broad-leafed hosta. Does that make sense? Or the fuzziness of a begonia versus the leaf off of a daylily. That is texture. Texture can be felt and texture can be seen. And it's in comparison to something else in relation to it. So that's when you can get really creative with your container gardens as well as your beds and your plantings. So you can mix up textures. So you can have different textures. We do textures quite a bit in specific activities and gardens where we have residents of a skilled nursing facility. And we have what we call a vertical texture garden, for instance, where they can come up and they can touch and they can feel. And so they can see and feel that texture. Texture is also very important with people that have very low eyesight or they are legally blind. Maybe they can't see the plant material, but they can go out and they can touch it. And they can feel the edges and they can feel whether it's smooth or rough, some things like that. So when someone has a sense that is disabled, other senses will compensate and kind of take over. So that's why, in that case, a sensory garden or a texture garden is a really good choice for people that have some type of disability because their heightened other senses will respond really good to those. So. Must like soils. Was popular again. Okay. Back to soils, which is good for us to know these things. Okay. And I'll read through the whole question before you answer. How many soil samples should be collected to make a truly representative sample of the area to be tested for nutrient analysis?
20?
Or
12.
10 to
2 to
12.
2 to
10 to
4,
20.
6 to 8, 10 to 12. I just, I think a magic dozen. So a dozen is always a good thing to remember. So we want to make sure that you have enough for a truly statistical representative sample of wherever you're testing, whatever piece of area that you're testing. So, okay. Okay, growing environment. So I'm going to get my pages all back in order. They kind of got out of order here. I hope to do reviews like this in the future. If you all like this format, it's a little less painful. It's not just a strict, sit down and do the test, but you are getting to learn everything. And if we do this by piece, I think that will be good. How about that?
Yes.
Like it.
Okay, full sun exposure in a landscape is considered how many hours a day?
8.
8.
8, absolutely. We have people that will try to cheat that one. And what is a sign of when we do not have enough light? Where we put a plant in where there's not enough of that 8-hour light.
Leggy growth.
Exactly. Usually it stretches. And do we have the normal capacity for blooming, for instance?
No.
No. And we have found, and it happened in my yard, we have a sugar maple planted in front of our home. We bought it 7 years ago. And as that tree has grown and changed, the shade and the shade effect has changed. And so I've had to dig up and move plants out of the way because the shade has changed. The lighting amount has changed. And they were all stretching out and they just weren't thriving. So a landscape is not static. It changes over time. So can you imagine what would happen if my 60-foot green ash tree comes out someday? What's going to happen to my landscape? Bright, 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 bright. So all the shade plants, the hostas are going to have to go somewhere else, right?
Yep.
Yep, that's what's going to have to happen. Otherwise, they're not going to make it. Okay.
Oh, good.
Beneficial insects. I know the music is a little cheesy, but it does, it helps out. It gets us where.
That adds to it.
Okay, here's a fun one. This beneficial larva is known as the aphid lion. The flower fly, the green lacewing,
Green
lace.
lacewing.
Green lace.
green lacewing is the aphid lion, one of our best friends in the landscape. Actually, I was doing training in Lincoln about doing some budgeting for specialty crops for helping our growers put in their expenses. And one of the cost budgets for a greenhouse was an example where they were buying lacewing larvae and letting them out, buying them and letting them into the greenhouse for natural aphid control. So, that's something you can have as a budgeted expense. In some greenhouses, they will release bumblebees specifically in a greenhouse to pollinate because they're an even better pollinator than the European honeybee. Did you guys know that?
Huh.
So that's kind of cool. People will buy boxes of ladybugs and they will let loose in their greenhouses because you can control them. You can have them, some will fly out, some will find a way out, but the mass majority hopefully will stay in and they'll help do your job and that reduces your use of chemicals. So.
Good. Another one.
Another one. Okay, now this is the blank one. This isn't just open, this is open-ended. What three ways can plants be incorporated into gardens and landscapes to attract beneficial insects? So this is open-ended. This is open-ended question.
Herbs.
Yep, herbs are great.
Containers,
Containers.
traditional beds.
Those are the ones that I threw out. There's lots of other ways. But, we think about the plants that attract those beneficials and you can incorporate them in all different kinds of ways. These are just 3 ways you can do. So be creative and know where the plant material can go. If you plant the plant material in the right place and the right environment, that'll attract those beneficials. And so it can be a real help. So then you can do all kinds of cool planting combinations to make it work.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, growing environment. Yeah, that makes sense now. Fill in the statement, right plant, right.
Place, right
Place.
environment.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we have right plant, right place, and then we have right
Right environment.
Environment.
environment. And so many people louse that one up. They mess that one up. It's like, oh, don't torture your plants. Give them a chance. But those are some of the easiest things to learn and share is right plant, right place, right environment. Design. This is important. We'll use this concept a lot. The size and placement of objects and plant material to create depth and distance in a design is called opinion, scale, or perspective.
Scale.
It is
Scale.
scale. So if you plant a 70-foot tree in a very tiny space, are you breaking the rule of scale? Yes, you are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it is not going to grow to its full potential. It needs to be in scale with other things in the environment, including a house. And how many times have we seen where someone planted an Alberta spruce, those cute little Alberta spruce, looks like a little Christmas tree, and they plant them on the corner of their house, way too close to the house. And then the Alberta spruce eats a corner of your home. Where literally the spruce is literally growing in to the corner and covers your downspouts and everything. That happens so easy. And that is a matter of scale, of making sure you know the right height and width at maturity that plant should be at. Case in point, I helped Randy Sainer, our unit leader, plant a crabapple as a memorial to his mother when she passed away. And I knew we didn't have a lot of space for a big tree, and they wanted a crab. And so we literally measured, okay, let's look at the label. We're going to follow our extension instructions. What's the maximum width of this tree? And is it going to overhang into the street? Is it going to overhang into the sidewalk? How much yard is it going to impact at its full potential? And so we measured it out, and I said, we're going to put it to work. And it was amazing where we had to place it. And it amazed him where we had to place it. But that's the matter of scale. So we're doing it so that plant material has the full potential to grow to its full form as an established plant, whether it's a shrub, whether it's a herbaceous perennial, or whether it's the crabapple. So. Okay. Maintenance. A little further backwards than back in the test than I thought. True or false? Should a tree be staked tightly so that
No.
move?
No.
No, thank
No,
you.
false.
False.
Nope.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Someone started saying something. Go ahead. How many of you seen a tree that it seems like they literally handcuffed it to the ground?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. A tree has to be able to bend and move. And so that the staking needs to go on the lower half of the tree instead of really up to the top. We want that tree to move because as it moves, that initiates root development to go out and to start establishing itself further out. Did you guys know that?
No,
The rocking of the tree in a newly planted tree and staked correctly on the bottom half and not tight it sends the signal out for the tree to send roots out further and make an anchor. How about that?
interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool thing. It's kind of a cool thing. It is 8 o'clock. Do we want to stop? You guys have been knocking these out of the park. I can take all your names and we can talk about the plunder that you want out of my seed collection. So what I have, and I'll tell you what I have available. I have Swiss chard, I have tarragon, I have thyme, I have zucchini. I have 3 flowers, not very much flower seed. I have moonflowers, alyssum, and a sunflower variety. I have arugula, which would be a green, leafy green. I have basil, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, catnip, cauliflower, celery, chives, cilantro, collard greens, cowpeas, cucumbers, eggplants, green beans, kale, lettuce, which is loose leaf lettuce, mesclun, okra, parsley, peas, peppers, which are hot peppers, spinach, and squash.
Hmm.
So, Lisa, what would you like? You get to pick 3.
Oh, I get to pick 3. Oh, let's see, catnip,
Okay. Okay,
zucchini,
okay. Okay,
and let's go with basil.
okay. All right, Patty, what sounds good to you?
Oh, cucumber, green bean, and if you have any more basil.
Let's see how many basil I have. I thought I had yeah, I have 17 packets of it. So, I can give you a basil, easy.
Thanks.
Nancy,
I would like,
Love the freaking watermelon.
oh, you have more than one.
On this table is the highest budget. Go.
okay, Nancy, what would you like?
I would like alyssum, tarragon, and basil.
Tarragon.
It's only $10. Now that we have a budget, let's go to the store.
Okay, Michelle.
Did you say watermelon?
No, I don't have any watermelon in this.
No
one.
watermelon. My grandson just said watermelon. Squash
Okay,
and basil. And what else did you say? Spinach? Yeah, spinach.
yeah, I should have some spinach in here.
I thought I heard you say that.
Yeah, I do have spinach. So,
Okay.
okay, that'll be great. And let's see who else. Sharon,
Yes,
what would you like?
moonflower
Moonflower?
and what were the other flowers?
There was a-
flower.
There's alyssum and there's sunflowers.
Okay, I guess alyssum and sunflowers and
Okay.
moonflowers.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. See what happens when you show up to review? Get something good out of this. Okay.
Very exciting, David, very exciting.
Hey, this is how I want to try to do this kind of stuff now. I'm trying to figure out this way, and we got lots of seeds. We could be in a seed shortage, gang, coming up. I don't know how people will be, whether with the supply chain thing that we've got going on. I don't know. So I'm thinking I have plenty of seed. You all were so generous to come out and do the review with me. And I think it was a fun way to do the test. So since you came and participated, then you get goodies out of it. So
And so then, David, do we take a written test too?
I can do a written test and I'll just do 10 questions and I'll just send it out. So
Because I didn't know what was going on.
yeah, the test, the written test can be just a 10-question test and they will be 10 questions off of the review.
Oh, good.
So things that I feel that are really important for you guys to remember.
Okay.
So not terrible, no pain here.
So, I just have a question about that picker wheel that you were using. Is that a free thing?
Yes, it is. It's awesome.
Okay, because I teach and so I was like, maybe.
It is a great little tool, and you can sign up and you can create your own account and you can save wheels, different wheels. So
Okay.
it's one that you can build on. So you can have you can have quite a few different wheels with different categories.
Yeah, I think that middle schoolers would like it.
Yes, I think that'd be good. I think they would enjoy that. So yeah, that's I was trying to think of a more fun way to do this. So since this is taped, then people can see it. And thank you for participating. Then you get some goodies out of participating. And the question, I will create the test and send it out. And if you have not put your hours in, please do so.
Can we just send
I
those
can-
to you, David?
What's that?
Can we just send those to you?
You can send them straight to me and I will input them. So
Okay, because,
that way you can just send them to me and I will input them into the system.
now,
So
as
the
far as the
volunteer?
class goes, we don't count those hours, do we?
The what hours?
This class, as far as,
This would be an education.
okay, so how many, I don't even recall how many hours.
Each class is 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't remember how many classes we've had.
Okay, I can send the schedule out
Okay, because
and you can look at them.
I've
And
been dealing with middle schoolers, so it's like my brain is dead.
sure, I can send you the schedule and then you can kind of recall what you watched in person or what you watched online, if you watched a recording.
Oh, okay.
So then you can,
And any volunteer hours, or if you worked with like, if you did anything with people like I worked with middle schoolers.
teaching and showing what's going on. That is helpful. Yes.
Okay, I was trying to like refresh my brain there, David. I appreciate it.
So I can send that out and I will, if you haven't set up an account, I will make an account for each of you. If you have not put it in, I will make you account and put your information in and I'll send you your passwords. So you can even get
Okay.
it. So
Okay, well, thank you so much, David.
we're getting everything put in the system for the state reports.
Is this, can I ask a question? Is this like the end, like tonight, is this the end of a year cycle where you had to, put all of our volunteer hours, all of our education hours? Like if we've met our 40-20 or whatever whatever the things were, is this like the end of a cycle? And when are you like considered a master gardener? Like if you've satisfied the volunteer hours and the education hours, can you kind of explain that?
Yes, once you satisfy your hours, then I issue certificates and
Mhm.
it's out. And
Okay.
if you, I need to send out an email anyway. If anyone has an itch and wants to help me sort the storeroom at the greenhouse on the farm here at North Platte, you're welcome to do so and get some volunteer hours. So you're welcome to do that. And I'll send a notice out if anyone is interested in helping that, because we're getting ready for the new year. But if you've got your hours in, I will issue you a certificate for 2021. So,
Okay.
the
And will you start up again in January then, like you did last year, or what's the?
yes, we start
forward.
in January, mid-January, and the date. That's one of my things after Thanksgiving is getting the dates and the topics lined up. We start the 19th of January.
Okay.
And I will have the schedule and the topics. And we're also going to collaborate with the Master Gardener groups from Columbus, and the Master Gardener group from Beatrice, and they will be presenting as well on
Nice.
days. So you'll get to hear more speakers than just me. So there should be plenty of opportunities. And so I'm working on the schedule right now to mesh everything together.
Nice.
So this is the quiet before the storm. So it's me after Thanksgiving, get everything caught up and put together. And then we will have information out for the new season. So for instance, if you would print off those flyers, for instance, and place them around town for the Master Gardener calendar, where you live, that would serve as volunteer hours.
That would, okay.
Yeah.
Where I'm
So-
in Omaha, I could get that around and I could get it to all the Omaha garden clubs.
Now it's going to be kind of it's got a Western Nebraska type of timing. So
Right.
2 weeks behind, easy from Omaha. It's just they'd have to know that you'd have to go 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks ahead. So we'll be a couple weeks behind in general. So. But lots of cities, I'm so happy with the pictures that people have sent in to share, and the calendar is coming together. And so now I'm getting my red editing pen, and then I'm going to go through it with a fine tooth comb and have several people look at it before we publish. But they will be ready to start production very, very soon.
Nice.
So David, the categories for the hours, are they like education, volunteer and teaching? Are those the categories?
The categories are your education hours, and then the other ones are your volunteer hours, which includes teaching.
Oh, okay.
I have a PowerPoint that I can send you, Lisa, that has the listing of all the different categories.
That might be helpful because, yeah, dealing with middle school kids, I'm just sort of looking forward to a couple days off.
Yeah, and that will work.
And it's nice to have a conversation with actual adults.
My wife says that all the time. She's a kindergarten teacher. So absolutely.
Well, they're sometimes about on the same level.
I bet there are days. I bet there are days. I used to be in the interim between my years of Kansas and Nebraska Extension. I was a high school resource room teacher, and that was definitely a lot of fun. It actually kind of recharged my batteries coming into Extension here in Nebraska. So I was probably in a lot of ways very much a blessing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I am working with the North Platte Boy Scouts Troop 81 right now. We're working on their plant science and their gardening badges right now, and they're growing herbs in a hydroponic setting, so in the greenhouse right now. So they're doing this in their time in an indoor environment so they can get through their gardening and their plant science badges in the off season, which works out great for them. So but anyway, well, it is a little bit after 8, and I'm sure everyone's getting ready for their holiday planning. I know we're heading out of state tomorrow, and I will get goodies sent off to everyone, and the seeds will be mailed out after Thanksgiving break. So starting Monday, I'll get all that stuff put together and get out the door. So thank you for participating in the review, and I will get this as a recording and post it up for people to watch if they didn't get to watch it tonight. So please be safe and enjoy your time with family and friends. And if you have any questions, just give me a call.
Thank you.
David,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You bet. Take care. We'll see you later.
David,
Yes.
this is Sharon Gale, and I was wondering, did you happen to get my hours? I tried on the state thing and it wouldn't let me in, so I
Okay.
just kind of send them to you. I took a picture of them on my camera and send
Okay.
it to you.
And I think you sent it to me on a text.
Yes.
Okay, I will look that up and
Okay,
that goes in.
hopefully you got it. If not, let me know and I'll try again or something. And